Hola, friends. Welcome to the Medicine, Marriage, and Money YouTube channel, the only channel for physicians who want to achieve marital interdependence and financial freedom together. On this channel, you will learn how to show up as the best version of yourself so that you can love intentionally and build a more financially savvy relationship with your spouse. And I am your host, a physician mom, a doctor's wife, a Gottman leader, a certified life and marriage coach, Dr. Kate Mangona. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Hello, sweet friends. Welcome to another episode of Medicine, Marriage, and Money. So there has been this very interesting and anonymous post on Facebook. Okay. And I'm not going to share which group it was in, or it was anonymous, so I can't share who wrote it. But it received like 200, 300 comments. And it was a physician said he would arrive home from work exhausted. He arrives home from work exhausted every single day, and he just wants 30 minutes to an hour. I think he actually said an hour to just decompress. And he can't seem to relay this to his wife. He comes home and all she does is complain or whine. And he can't get it through to her that he just needs an hour to decompress before he does anything else. Okay, does that sound familiar to you? And you can be a man or woman, whoever you want to be, right? We all might be mentally and sometimes emotionally or physically drained, depending on our job description, when we get home from work. So let's think about this. If we are completely exhausted and we arrive home, what is it like to receive that energy? Let's just pretend we're on the opposite side of the spectrum. Our love, the love of our life, arrives home exhausted, depleted. We can't even think about our children. What about your children? And think about when they were little. Maybe they are little. When they arrive home from a full day of school and they're absolutely drained, right? They've been doing reading, math, writing. They've been trying to do all these things that's completely new to them, and they're just exhausted. What do they want to do? Do they want to answer a million questions from you? No. Do they want to, and they don't have the emotional capacity that we do as adults. So your spouse, if they're arriving home like this, how are you going to receive that energy? Well, it might not feel so good, but what if we respond with love and compassion, right? So we have to think about this both ways. First of all, I want you to figure out, who are you? Are you the person arriving home? Or are you the person receiving the person who's arriving home? Okay. Once you've figured that out, step one. Step two is, okay, well, let's just think about it from the other way around. What if I was that person who was already at home and I'm coming home, when really, you're the other person? And think about that. I have been on the receiving and giving end of both of these. When I arrive home I work 3 clinical days a week. When I arrive home and my kids are all at the door, sometimes they come out the door charging, open my minivan, come in, and I'm still not like emotionally available. I get irritable, right? Like I snap, I might yell, right? And what do I want to do while I'm at work? I'm like, occasionally I might look at a fun picture of them, or my nanny might send me a picture and I'm like, I miss them. I love them. I want to go home and cuddle with them. And then I actually get home and I'm like irritated and angry, right? Same thing with your spouse. When they get home, just because they're irritated or angry or need moments to decompress doesn't mean they don't love you. So in response to this physician who was arriving home and seemed to irritate his wife endlessly with his exhaustion, there were a lot of good tips and there were a lot of funny comments. And I will say what the best tips were is for him to find a way to arrive home partially filled up again. Like, how could he or she arrive home full? okay, and your best self. Because who do you want to be for your family? Who do you want to be for your patients? Usually, you don't come in there with all of your emotions and exhaustion. You put your best face forward. Should you have to do that 100% of the time with your love? No. But do you want to? And that's a choice you get to make. So, step 3 is that choice. Do you want to arrive home exhausted or do you not want to? Because that is a choice too. And you can decide to take the long way home. Listen to a podcast or an audiobook that fills you up, that changes your state, right? We all think that we're exhausted or we're irritated or we're angry and we have to stay there. No, you don't have to stay there. You can change your state in a second. And that could be from listening to something uplifting, empowering. That could be by turning on some music that you love, by moving your body. Some people go to the gym right after work, go take a class, a powerlifting class, or go lift weights. I would go take a Pilates class, of course, but I prefer to do that in the morning. And then come home, right? So your work's out of the way, your workout, you've done something healthy for you, and now you're ready to receive and just be. And listen, right? After you've worked out and your serotonin is just like, or your endorphins, maybe you're a runner, your endorphins are just in your brain, clicking those neurotransmitters, hitting those neurotransmitters. You come home and you're good. You're good to go. You just ran 5 miles, or you just did the Peloton, or you just lifted your weights, and you arrive home completely differently than coming straight from work. So maybe you need to hit the gym. Maybe you take the long way home. Maybe you need to listen to some upbeat music, some podcasts, whatever that is. I encourage you to figure that out, and you can experiment, right? So 1, figure out who it is. Are you the one arriving home or receiving? 2, imagine it from the other perspective. Then number 3, choose. Okay, do I want to arrive home this way? Do I want everybody to know I'm exhausted and leave me alone? Okay, well then tell them, but also know that's you deciding, you're not going to put your best foot forward when you walk in the door, unless you have a routine, right? Maybe your husband or wife or spouse just knows when you arrive home, they're going to stay in the other room, let you go up, take a bath, a shower, go up to the gym or go to the garage, do whatever you need to do. And then when you reemerge clean or rejuvenated, okay, then your routine is going to go and embrace, and then you can listen to anything. You can handle anything. Okay, the washing machine's broken. Okay, we're going to fix that. Oh, we need to get new car tags. Okay, yes, we'll do that. Instead of, I come home and then she tells me all these things need fixing. All these things are wrong, right? I mean, because you've been gone all day. Oftentimes we save things up because we don't want to be texting, and sometimes we do text constantly throughout the day, but maybe you've decided you don't want to do that. Or if you're the receiver, right, from this person coming home, okay, you're the one listening to this podcast, remember, this episode. So don't tell your spouse what to do, although you can offer it. You can say, hey, honey, you know what? I think maybe you should just go to the park or to the gym, or go sit in the car for 30 minutes before you walk in. Like, do that when you come home from work. It doesn't matter if you arrive home at 7:30 instead of 7. If that's what you need to arrive, like, you could offer that to them, but you can't expect it of them. Instead, you're going to change the way you view them walking through that door, exhausted, depleted, angry. Okay, so how are you going to meet that energy? Recognize the pattern. And the key is to interrupt that pattern. So if you usually receive that angry or that irritated, exhausted energy with sides and complaints and he's and haws, and you always ignore me and you never listen to me, then the pattern's going to just keep on going. It's going to be like this cyclical devastation of the relationship. Or you can just interrupt it. And you can decide you're going to empower yourself, whoever else is in the room, them, if you can. You might not want to, you might want to work on yourself first and figure out what you're going to do to kind of interrupt that pattern of exhaustion. It can be as much as a hug, kiss, I love you, go decompress. Let's come back in a moment, right? So you have to have that awareness. Okay, so steps 1, 2, recognize who it is you are, put yourself in the other person's shoes. 3, decide how you want to show up. And then 4, experiment with that, right? Experiment. If you're going to go and take the circuitous route home, or if you're going to show up with a bouquet of flowers, a ready-made dinner, plans to go out to eat, or with just like some positive news, or just some like, hey, I did this today, or look at how beautiful the flowers are. Just something random, something small. We got this wonderful letter in the mail from so and so. I received this text from this update from our cousin. Instead of this needs to get fixed, this is broken, this bill hasn't been paid yet, right? So you decide how you're going to show up. And perception is everything. Everything. If we continue to put ourselves in that victim, like we're doing what's right, they're doing what's wrong, we're going to continue the pattern. If we can learn to recognize the pattern as it happens and interrupt it, you will be saving more lives, your relationship, setting an example for your children. And that is what I have for you today, is show up. How to not show up home exhausted after work. It is a choice that we make. And sometimes we are physically exhausted and we want to go to sleep. Talk about it, right? Figure out, do you have to go to sleep right when you get home because you work some overnight shift, or you're right? Make a plan, communicate it, be honest and open with each other about what you need. But don't expect your love, your spouse, to give you what you need every time, right? You have to be the one to get it and to keep, right? To keep those habits up, okay? Because they're not going to remember it the way you remember it, because it's what's happening in your brain. So with that, please go try it. Let me know how it works. If this has been a problem for you, and try it on your children. I will tell you, if I'm on an important phone call on my way home from work, and an important even with a friend, right, or a family member, I might stop a block away just to finish that phone call before I walk into the door, so that I don't have to yell or be irritated by kids, because I love them, and I want to squish them and I want to hug them. Same thing with my husband. I don't want to be walking and just completely ignore them, distracted on the phone. So I will finish that in my car around the block so they don't know I'm home yet. And then I will come home when I am ready. Okay. Try it out. I hope it works for you. And one more thing. If you have not already seen, Honeymoon 2.0 is on sale now. It is the ultimate luxury couples retreat happening this October, 2024, October 7th through 11th. 10 lucky, blessed couples are going to be coming on this retreat, learning relationship techniques. We're going to be talking about communication. We're going to be focusing on intimacy. We're going to be doing playful challenges. We're going to be doing embodiment coaching. We're going to be dancing. We're going to be biking down the most beautiful mountain you've ever seen. We're actually going to go biking down a cloud, through a cloud. You can actually feel the cloud on your nose, with 2 marriage coaches. One intimacy expert marriage coach, my dear mentor and friend, has been doing this for over 10 years, Dr. Alexandra Stockwell, and myself. And it is ready to sign up now. So get those now, book your hotel. And okay, I like to think that once you've booked a trip or a retreat, half the fun is just anticipating it, right? Planning for it. Okay, this is what I'm going to pack. And we are going to provide a packing list of things we recommend that you bring. You don't have to. And it's going to be absolute rejuvenation for your marriage. Or maybe you're not married yet, or you don't want to be married, but you're with this other person, you love them. It's called Honeymoon 2.0 because it's assumed that you've already had a honeymoon and it's time for another one. And the reason may be because you've had kids, you've focused on your career, life has gotten away, you've had family drama, and it is time to focus on you and your love. And that's it, right? What magic can happen when for 4 or 5 days you focus solely on each other? Come with us, October 7th through 11th, 2024. This will take your relationship to the next level. So if things get crazy, if you become more passionate than you ever thought you could, you can blame me and Dr. Alexandra Stock. Hope to see you there. The link will be in the comments or the show notes. So much love, my sweet friends. If you are finding the concepts I teach in these episodes useful and want more in-depth and personalized support for your relationship, consider this your invitation to join me in creating the most connected and intimate relationship with your spouse that you could dream of. Go to www.medicinemarriageandmoney.com right now and download my 18-page medical marriage survival guide and workbook at no cost to you. I also have a 6-day marriage challenge, which goes over the 6 predictors of divorce at no cost to you. These have been known to decrease fighting, rumination, and grudges between you and your loved one. If you want to take it a step farther, really enhance the joy and connection in the most intimate relationship in your life, sign up for my 8-week Making Marriage Work program today at medicinemarriageandmoney.com. Thanks for leaving us a stellar review, subscribing, and sharing with your friends on social media. You have the power to improve someone else's life and marriage simply by sharing this episode. Much love to you and your spouse. You're exactly where you need to be in this moment. Adios, my friends. The content of this episode is not intended to be a substitute for professional, medical, or financial advice. The opinions provided on this episode are those of myself or the invited guest alone. They do not represent the opinions of any particular institution. Always seek the advice of your physician or financial advisor with any questions you may have of a medical condition or financial plan. This is for your entertainment only.